Welcome, my friends, my family, my fellow gamers. Is your boy PorterRock77 coming back in with you another video. If you're new to the channel, hey, just hit the like button and subscribe, and I hope you enjoy the content. All right. So today, I'm not doing a live broadcast. I'm doing a recorded video. I think it will be a little bit faster to get my point. A lot of the live broadcast usually ends up being 45 minutes, hour and a half, depending on how much content. But I'm doing this so I could get straight to the point. And it's pretty much what the title screen you see is: three possible directions that Sony can take the PlayStation brand. Now, to precept this, all right, to get a fundamental understanding, about maybe two contents ago, I made a live stream that I talked about the expectations of PlayStation fans versus PlayStation fanboys and what we expect from Sony and the upcoming PlayStation 5. The reason I made that live broadcast was to talk about pretty much the difference between what the two audiences have. Because I think the message is being muddled on what PlayStation wants, PlayStation fans want, and expect from the PlayStation 5 brand. It's being muddled in social media and being confused with what the fanboys are talking about, And mostly the fanboys are just talking trash. It's pretty much like your mama jokes when it comes to console war and crumb side information. But that is becoming so talked about that the message is being muddled, right? So I did that live broadcast. But what I'm doing now is to talk about three possible, you could say, courses of actions that Sony can take with the future of the PlayStation brand. Now, the reason why I want to do this video is to break that down outside of the crumb side, outside of the fanboy, and that way people can have the fundamental understanding of the 3 points of view. Because right now, if you try to learn this topic through social media, Twitter, Facebook, whatever, again, the message is going to be muddled with the fanboy crumb side talk, right? But luckily you got me here. Luckily you're in my channel, all right? So before I hit up the 3 points, again, I would like to remind you, please hit the subscribe button so you could tune into more content. I got great plans for 2020. I'm bringing my podcast consistently starting like around May time frame, where I'm moving back to California or back to the States in California. So I should be settled through and everything will be kicked off lovely. All right. So don't miss out on the amazing stuff I'm going to be doing on this channel. So hit the subscribe button. So here we go. We're going to talk about course of action number one. All right. All right. So course of action number one for Sony is the traditional model with the PlayStation 5, right? This is going to be the fifth iteration of the PlayStation console brand. We already know what the PlayStation 1, the 2, the 3, the 4, and now the 5. Traditional model is the exclusives, all games built for this console, for this platform, and you're using the game to tantalize users to get the platform, which will lead to playing games outside the exclusives, primarily the multiplats, right? Traditional model, very successful model for Sony. It's been working this whole time, especially with the PlayStation 4, which is possibly the most successful and dominant console of all time. Now, of course, there is a PlayStation 2 which sold 150 million, but PlayStation 4 is projected to break that because it's been selling consoles at a faster pace than the PlayStation 2. Plus, it's been selling more games at a faster pace than the PlayStation 2. PlayStation 4 is hitting all the metrics, so superseding everything done before it, to include the Nintendo Wii. It is the most successful console of all time. The model works, it's standard, and it's normal. It's for the consumer aspect, it's simple. They make a console, they build games for the console, they advertise for the console, they talk about the exclusive games and the content that you can't play anywhere else. Consumers relate to that. It's always been that way in console gaming, whether it's from Super Nintendo to N64, PlayStation 1 to PlayStation 2, Sega Master System, Sega Genesis to Sega Saturn. It's a simple concept and it works, right? So from the company perspective in this, again, it's a traditional that's been working for Sony and it's worked tremendously for Sony, making PlayStation 4 the most powerful brand in gaming as of today. For the consumers, again, normal, traditional, status quo, doesn't need much of an explanation. This core is the core most consumers for the PlayStation 5 expect. Reason being, it's not about gatekeeping games or talking trash, because again, with the crumb side, it muddles the message. Consumers of the PlayStation 5 are only worried about the PlayStation 5. And when we jump to these platforms to play a PlayStation 5, what is the console going to do? The number one thing that we are concerned about is the games. And within the games, we are concerned about is Sony's first party taking advantage of the hardware? Or are they thinking about putting these games on other platforms and stuff like that? The first COA is the most common COA that gamers who are going to buy the PlayStation 5 want. They just want Sony to focus on PlayStation 5, build the games up from the ground up on the PlayStation 5, take advantage of the hardware. Don't worry about the PlayStation 4. Don't worry about this. Don't worry about that. Just give us what we always wanted, right? Traditional, simple, right? COA 2, course of action number 2. This is where everything changes now, right? Because how gaming is today with game streaming, multi-platform development, PC integration, x86 architectures, game scaling up and down, available for more platforms, having games more accessible to more players, let gamers play on the platform they want to play on. So these things fundamentally change the mindset of what previous past and how gaming was before. Microsoft went all in on this idea. Play wherever you want. Play on PC day one. Play on Xbox One, Xbox One X, soon to be Xbox SX. And eventually, once they get their cloud streaming service up, play on your phones. Play when you want, you decide on the platform, right? Microsoft already went all in. The question is, will Sony go this route? There's certain little key signatures and signs that people are using, little telltales to make their assumptions that this is the direction that Sony might go, primarily with Horizon Zero Dawn rumored going to PC sometime this year, right? And with more grades coming. Then there was also the MLB The Show deal. That's a multi-plat. So these little signs that we've seen, people are thinking, is Sony tipping their toe in the pool to see how warm it is? Are they looking to a future where they could do day one games on PC and potentially PS Now, right? But then there's also side confusion. Godfall, PC, PS5, but no PS4, PS Now version, right? So what is COA 2? COA 2 is Sony deciding to support PC day one, or better put, support their ecosystem. So no longer is it about the PlayStation 5, it's about the PlayStation ecosystem, which will be PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, PlayStation Now, the streaming service, and PC, however they arrange that. Maybe talks of some type of own application similar to Steam, Epic Game Store, or they'll have the PlayStation Store. So in order to play these games, you have to load up and boot up the PlayStation Store, right? Which will be a competitor to Steam and Epic Game Store. Whole new area Sony will be involved in. But under this condition, it's no longer about the device. It's more about the environment. Wherever you play, whether it's PC, PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, or PS Now, through phones or whatever, tablets, you're playing within the PlayStation environment. Now, this is the least preferred COA for gamers, right? Reason being is, you may think, why is this the least preferred? I'm talking from the perspective of the PlayStation fans that are all in on PlayStation 5. This COA fits the model of people that are more or less going to go outside the PlayStation console, right? People who may go from PlayStation 4 to PC, or people who just get rid of hardware altogether and may just do gaming through streaming via their phone, tablets, TVs, however Sony provides PS Now in the future. As of today, it's only limited to console and the PC platform. But this is a COA where it's not about the specific device, it's generalized, game scaling up and down. You choose the best experience of these games. It's no longer about the PlayStation 5 taking advantage, or developers taking advantage of what PlayStation 5 got. It's all about, hey, these are the various levels of games. You can play the PS4 version, the PS4 Pro version, the PS5, which is the better of the console version, or you could get bells and whistles on PC. It's a whole mix of just environment and where you go. The advantage is you can reach out to more users with that model, right? But that's specifically just from the first party perspective. As far as third party goes, a lot of people, especially if they choose a different platform like the PC, they're going to play their third party on Steam, right? So that could be a disadvantage for Sony where they could potentially lose customers and the third party sales go to another platform, right? As far as the PlayStation 5 consumer, and again, this is not the fanboy perspective or the crunch side perspective. When a consumer goes in and buys a PlayStation 5, they won't be concerned about the PlayStation 4, PS Now, or PC. They want to know, we want to know, what are you doing for the PS5? Is PS5 eventually simply just a upgrade version, a mid-gen refresh, just a better version of a PS4 game? This is why this COA is the most concerning for the PlayStation's enthusiasts and the fans of the brand. This is a far departure from the traditional model, and more or less the PlayStation 5 is just another device. Sony has not said this is the exact core they're going to. Again, this is just an example of one of my ideas of what possibly they could do. If they choose this route, then hopefully Sony just says it, just says it straight out, whether it's during the PlayStation 5 real event or some type of event, but they need to say it. That way, at least at that point, if PlayStation 5 is pretty much just another device among devices, at least we get to know and we get to decide what device we want to play our games on, right? The final COA number 3, course of action number 3, right? And this has not been talked about much, is kind of like a hybrid of the first COA and the second COA, right? This is the hybrid COA, meaning a mixture of the two, where Sony still do exclusives for the PlayStation 5 specifically, meaning the games they make from the first party perspective is still exclusive to the PlayStation 5. It won't go to the PC. But since Sony sees PlayStation 5 as kicked off and now it's all about the PlayStation 5 gen, that means the PlayStation 4 games is fair game to be put on other platforms. So there's potential as the third COA Sony sees during the gen of that console, the games are exclusive. But once they move on to the next gen, the old gen is fair game to put on PC, meaning the games aren't day and date on PC. 3, 4, 5-year-old games are now going onto PC for $20, $30, where Sony makes extra money. But the new exclusives for the next gen console are exclusive, built from the ground up on that platform for people who buy that platform. So in other words, you go buy a PlayStation 5 and you got a PlayStation 5, Horizon Zero Dawn 2, built for the PlayStation 5, exclusive to the PlayStation 5. Spider-Man 2, the next God of War, and new IPs that Sony creates, built from the ground up on the PlayStation 5, taking advantage of all the great hardware that's coming. The Ryzen, the Navi GPU, the highly talked about solid state drives, which is supposedly the fastest out of all the consoles out there. All this technology built from the ground up, PlayStation 5. But as far as the PlayStation 4 games, Sony may see it as, hey, we're doing PlayStation 5. These PlayStation 4 games did what they had to do. Horizon Zero Dawn is already 3 years old. Uncharted 4 is already 4 years old. Bloodborne is already 5, 6 years old, right? All these games, at the time when they released, when they were exclusive to PlayStation, they did what they had to do. They were built from the ground up for the PlayStation 4. They were exclusive to the PlayStation 4, and they sold PlayStation 4s, right? And they got a community and grew the community, and, PlayStation 4 ended up being successful. But that chapter is over with. It's over. Next gen is here. PlayStation 5 is here. It's no longer about the PlayStation 4. Therefore, the PlayStation 4 games, it's free dibs now for PC gamers. That could be a COA that PlayStation and Sony could actually take, right? So you got 3 COAs that I just broke down. Number 1, traditional. Number 2, they want support across multiple platforms. Number 3, a hybrid of the first and 2, right? What do I think? I think COA number 1 or number 3 are the most likely COAs Sony will take. Number 1 being they're going to stay with exclusives. All their games are exclusive to the platform, minus maybe, MLB The Show, obviously, because that's already decided as a multi-plat starting in 2021. But for the most part, they go exclusive across the board. It's just focusing on PlayStation 5, right? Or COA number 3 is a hybrid, where PlayStation 5 games are exclusive to PlayStation 5. And then when PlayStation 6 comes out, now those PlayStation 5 games will be on PC. In other words, if that's the COA Sony chooses, are you going to wait 4, 5, 6 years for these games to play on PC? Chances are you're not if you're a PlayStation gamer. You're not going to wait 4, 5, 6 years to play these games. As long as we know these games are built from the ground up on the PlayStation console and they take advantage of PlayStation hardware, PlayStation 5 hardware, that is what we're looking for as PlayStation 5 gamers, right? I think once a new generation of console goes on, no one's going to really worry about the PlayStation 4. If you're playing Horizon Zero Dawn 2 or Spider-Man 2, I don't think you're going to worry about Spider-Man 1 now finally be on PC, right? Because by the time Spider-Man 2 goes on PC, you'll be playing the PlayStation 6 and maybe Spider-Man 3 or maybe a whole new IP, from Insomniac, right? So I think 1 and 3, me personally, are the COAs. COA number 2 to me is the least likely COA. Because I don't see Sony being that desperate. I ain't going to use the word desperate, but I don't see them just jumping on PC day one and putting PC platform on the same scale as a PS5 platform. Now, of course, people have opinions, and I would say this. People have opinions that PC is not a direct competitor with PS5. It's not so much about competition. It's about mind share, right? And mind share is highly important. If you don't believe me, compare Microsoft's Xbox Series X reveal at the Game Awards and Sony simply showing a symbol at the CES, Consumer Electronics Show, right? Look at how much, look how much the games trend. Look how Sony and the brands trended. That, logo, just a simple logo, trended much more throughout social media. Got like 4 million likes on Instagram as compared to only 800,000 for Xbox. Mindshare is huge, all right? Mindshare, let me tell you how important mindshare is. And mindshare creates narrative. I'll give you a perfect example of mindshare narrative. In 2013, during E3, Microsoft announced that they're attempting to go always online with their Xbox One console. And this was during June, right? Through that whole week, it was just a thrashing of Microsoft. Microsoft was just getting thrashed by the media, by the fans, by even Xbox fans. They did not like this idea. And despite every single day for that week, Microsoft tried to damage control, especially with the infamous one. Oh, you don't like always online? Well, we got the perfect console for you. And they showed the Xbox 360, which was insulting to many Xbox fans, right? By the end of the week, Microsoft gave up. The negativity in the media, Microsoft getting thrashed, the brand getting thrashed, they just changed their mind. They submitted to the will of the gamers. They said they're not doing always online. They updated the software and the UI. You can play the console offline. That's it. End of story. A week later, end of story. The console launches in November. No offline. No online. None of that nonsense, right? Yet despite Microsoft killing that idea before the console even launched, you had people 2 years after launch, deep into 2015, saying they will not buy an Xbox One because of always online. 2 years. And the crazy part is Microsoft never even did it. After a week, they said, fine, we're not going to do it. When the console launched, you don't have to worry about always online. And that is what mindshare does. That is what marketing does. That's what information out in the wild does, right? PlayStation putting their games on PC day one creates a narrative that PlayStation 5 has no exclusives. Now, of course, people are going to be like, well, if you don't care about PC, it's still exclusive because it's not on Nintendo or PC. If you have to spend your time explaining all this stuff, then you're already down the wrong path. It should be a simple, sellable, straight to the point. Can I play this game on any other platform? No, you can't. Oh, so it's exclusive. Got it. Close the book. Simple. Right? If you have to spend your time explaining something, the more long you spend explaining, the more you're going to lose your audience. Right? It should be a simple statement. Perfect example. When Sony, during that time with Always Online for Xbox One, Sony made a 30-second commercial, a 30-second little video. And it was with Yoshida. And it was, I'm pretend this is a game. This is how we trade our game. Here you go. Grabbed it. Thank you. End of commercial. Simple. And that's how you advertise. And that's how you get the point out, right? So I don't think Sony's going to go with code number 2. Because even though some say PC is not a direct competitor to PlayStation 5, what it is a competitor is statements, is words, is verbiage. Do I need this console? Do I need a PlayStation 5 to play this game? Yes or no? Well, you see that? Yes or no? Well, no. Then there you go. You already lost the audience. That spreads throughout the community. That spreads out throughout the world. Everybody starts getting confused, like, oh, what the hell? I don't need a PlayStation 5 to play this game. Blah, blah, blah. It just becomes a jumbled mess of a message, right? So that's why I think code 2 is the most least likely out of the two, because mindshare is important. How the media, how the fans, how consumers respond to the brand and to the information. It's Microsoft that has to do all this excess conversation. Game's still on Xbox One, is on Xbox One S, is on Xbox One X, it's a Series X. Well, One X does 4K, this console does 4K. Well, better 4K than the other 4K. It's all this stuff that Microsoft's going to have to sort out. Microsoft's going to have to do the extra to sort all this out. While Sony could just go out there and be like, PlayStation 5, these PlayStation 5 first-party games are only for PlayStation 5. End of story, right? Now, with code number 3, like I said before, they could say, hey, PlayStation 5 games are exclusive to PlayStation 5. That's it. The older stuff, PlayStation 4, hey, yeah, we're going to put those on PC. But that's the older stuff, right? Primarily, people are going to be more focused on the PlayStation 5 as the gen develops. But anyway, those are my 3 points. This is not fanboys' points. Again, the fanboy talking points, the crunch side talking points is muddling the message. We're trying to get out there, consumers, us PlayStation 5 fans. We're trying to voice our opinions. We're trying to make, real points about this stuff. But it's getting mixed in with crunch side. And at this point, more people think it's a crunch side topic than a legit consumer topic, because at the end of the day, the PlayStation 5 is a consumer product. We're paying for it, so there's a little expectation of what we want with the money we're gonna put towards it, right? But with that, let me know what you think in the comment section. Hit me up in the comment section. If not, you can hit me up on Twitter, PorterRock77 with an underscore at the end, all right? Hit me up there and we'll continue the conversation over there. But before you leave, again, don't forget to hit the like button. And if you're new to the channel, subscribe. Welcome. I hope you take the time to catch one of my live streams so you can be part of the chat. Awesome chat. I have amazing mods in the community. It's a great time. Anyway, see you soon. This is your boy PorterRock77, your only friend in these YouTube streets. Remember that. You guys take care. Peace.